Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and this is the Not So Serious Keto video podcast. From time to time, I will get viewers that will make comments on my review videos saying something to the effect of course Steve isn't going to say anything bad about their product or their company because he's getting paid by them. And I believe those are generally new viewers because anybody that's watched this channel long enough knows I'm not afraid of biting the hand that feeds me. Which brings me to Perfect Keto's Black Friday sale. What a hot mess this was. Now, my hope, because I'm an optimist, is that they are kind of in a transition right now. I'd mentioned this in a previous podcast. They are going to be repurchased by one of the founders of the company, and I hope they can right the ship, because the last couple of sales, the inventory has not been great. And this sale, this Black Friday sale, this is actually the first one in I think 4 years where I haven't purchased anything from Perfect Keto because everything I wanted was out of stock. The Beauty Plus Sleep Collagen, all I had was lavender, berry lavender or lavender berry. And in fact, I was told by some of my viewers that that was the free gift on one of the days. So if they're going to get rid of the Beauty Plus Sleep Collagen, if that's an end-of-life product, that's going to be disappointing to me. But none of the other flavors of collagen that I like were in stock. None of the ones that I put in my coffee. Nola bars, largely depleted, they were out of their electrolyte capsules. I mean, this is everything that I order every single time. I stock up on this stuff, and they were out of it all. So I'm pretty disappointed in Perfect Keto. I hope whatever's going on with them, they're able to fix and get right, because if they're not going to carry the products that I enjoy and I purchase, I can't see continuing to be an affiliate marketing partner with them. So if you are from Perfect Keto, this is not a threat. This is just, I hope you can get things figured out and start getting inventory where it needs to be and do what you got to do. On a similar topic, UnbelievaBuns. I know that some of you are disappointed because you've been getting emails saying that your buns aren't going to ship for another 2, maybe even 3 weeks. And I just want to explain that. First off, I spoke to the owner, Jared, before I even hit the publish button on my video review of UnbelievaBuns, because I said, I hope you're prepared. I hope you're prepared to meet the demand. And he assured me that he was. Now there's a couple of issues. The biggest is these buns are made fresh, there's no preservatives, they don't want them unrefrigerated or unfrozen for more than 2 days, and that is why you have 2-day shipping. It's not to make sure that you have it in 2 days, but to make sure that the buns stay fresh. This means that they only ship on Monday through Wednesday so that the buns don't get hung up in transit over the weekend and they're out of the fridge for 4 days, 5 days. And then we had the Thanksgiving week. So basically this past week, they were only able to ship, I think, on Monday, just to make sure that everybody had it on time, had their buns on time. Anyhow, I realize that this is not a consolation for those of you who expected to get your buns right away, but at least now you understand why it's taking so long. And for that reason, I'm going to hold off doing any more reviews of their products until they get back and caught up with their inventory and shipping and everything. In a little bit of behind-the-scenes news, over the past couple of months, I have gotten a handful of different emails from Instagram saying, "Are you trying to reset your password?" Which means someone is trying to reset my password that's not me. And the reason I bring this up is I do have a pretty secure password system going on, so I doubt that anyone is actually going to be able to hack any of my social media accounts. But sometimes people will pose as me. So if you ever see something that doesn't look like something that I would say, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. In fact, I can't remember the last time I posted anything. Well, I guess X now. Last time I posted anything there. If you see something in the YouTube comments that seems like something really that I wouldn't say, pay very close attention to the name. Just like when I do the giveaways, someone is always pretending to be me to try and scam my viewers. If it doesn't say Serious Keto or at Serious Keto, if it doesn't have the little black or dark gray box or circle around it, it's not me. Or if you see any sort of special symbols, just things that look odd, if you see that, call it to my attention. especially if it's on some platform other than YouTube. Because on YouTube, I'm going to catch it right away. But if it's some other platform that I don't frequent as often, if you catch something like that, come leave me a comment on YouTube, because that's where I see comments, most rapidly, and I'll get on top of that. But especially when it comes to any sort of a giveaway or anything like that, if it seems like I'm trying to get money from you or something, or try and get your name, your address, anything like that, be highly suspicious. There seems to be an awful lot of fraud going on the internet lately. At least I'm getting hit by a fair amount lately. Following up on a topic I covered a couple of weeks ago, I had mentioned that I was going to be on Dr. Sean Baker's podcast and then on Dr. Ken Berry's. I wasn't sure what it was, and I got it wrong. I thought it was going to be a community of maybe doctors or professors within the medical community, because it was to be on his PhD group. And I thought like capital P, little h, capital D, like people with their doctorate degrees. No, it's proper human diet. So he has a user group that he does periodic, I guess, live streams, Q's and A's, or Q&A's. I don't know what the plural is. I would assume Q's and A's, but that's what it is. It's the proper human diet group. So just to clarify for everybody, it will be exclusively for them initially, and then possibly then at some point released on YouTube in the future. So just a clarification. However, the Dr. Baker podcast, that will be whatever his standard podcast is. I don't think it plays live. I think we record it, and we're recording that in the middle of January, and then it will release at some point subsequent to that. As soon as it does, I will make sure I include the link to that, and eventually when Dr. Berry's thing goes live on YouTube, I will make sure that you're aware of that. That's all I have to say on that topic. It seems like pretty much every week I have some little segment in the podcast talking about the comments that I get, which for the most part are all very positive. And I love that about this community, the overall positive nature of comments within Serious Keto. You get a few of the negative ones. There's always going to be that. But the one I want to talk about this week is when people, especially this is with products, but sometimes it's recipes as well, people will come and they will throw some sort of FDA guideline at me. Like, the FDA says you shouldn't have that much sodium. And I just find that terribly ironic that we, within the keto community, pretty much fly directly in the face of FDA guidelines. I mean, at least in terms of dietary fat, carbohydrates, etc. So when people decide to cherry pick something else that the FDA says, it just makes me kind of snicker a little bit, because why? In terms of sodium, now I get if you have sodium issues, if you've got hypertension, high blood pressure, it may be something that you want to look out for. But for those of us who are in a state of ketosis and are controlling our insulin, we urinate out more in the way of minerals and electrolytes, which is why very often we supplement with electrolytes so we can get additional sodium and potassium and magnesium. But there is a reason keto people tend to use more in the way of minerals like that. So when people see like Keto Chow, for example, and say one packet of that has 60% of the amount of whatever, sodium. I don't know. I'd have to look at the package. That's the FDA's guideline. Putting the FDA, I think, in any sort of an argument in a keto channel kind of undermines your argument a little bit. But at least now also you know why we on keto, if you were ever wondering, why we tend to consume more in the way of these minerals and electrolytes. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. It was Thanksgiving earlier this year? Because it felt like there was about 3 days between Halloween and Thanksgiving. I hope the rest of the winter goes that quickly here in Wisconsin, though I don't fully expect that it will. And in the spirit of full disclosure, I went a little bit off plan for Thanksgiving. I don't like using the word cheat day. I mean, I made a decision. I own that decision. The family did not want turkey. Most of my family's not really into turkey, and they wanted beef Wellington. So once a year, I will make beef Wellington, and it is for Thanksgiving. And if I'm going to put that kind of effort into a dish, I'm going to eat it. So I did have some puff pastry, and then I also broke down and had a piece of cherry pie. So there was a pretty substantial glucose spike, but Again, I own it. I made a decision. So the next day I felt, a little bit crummy, a little lethargic, a little unambitious. It's sort of, it's like having a low-grade full-body hangover for me, after I go and have a carb-up sort of day. But the reason I do those occasional off-plan days and the reason I appreciate them is it offers me a reminder of what I used to feel like all the time and thought was normal. I think often, especially if we've been on keto for quite some time, we can forget how we used to feel. And we forget that there was a time when our normal was being in a constant state of mental fog, being in a constant state of sort of mild discomfort or even pain in our joints, feeling sort of, I don't know, just blah. And it's good, I think, to remind ourselves of what that used to feel like from time to time, at least for me, because then I can go now probably through the rest of the holidays and not be tempted. Now, I'm not saying that this should be a strategy for all people, because I think there can be that tendency, and you have to know yourself, but there can be that tendency to, once you have that one cheat day or off-plan day, to say, well, as long as I had one, might as well just run it through the weekend and get back on the horse on Monday. So my recommendation is, if you want to have a cheat day or off-plan meal over the course of the holidays, it's a family event, you want to indulge a little bit, make sure that it is planned. And that also that you're aware of the consequences, that you are going to feel probably not so spectacular the next day. You might put on a couple of pounds, but if it's not a spontaneous event, if it is a planned event, and if you limit yourself to one day or one meal, I don't see a big problem with that. But I think if you have any concerns about your willpower, and if you feel that this is like an addict going back to the drug again, then probably find yourself an alternative solution. And I've done videos about, I think, I can't remember if it was a holiday video specifically, how to manage holiday parties or things like that. I'll have to look it up and I'll put it in the end card. The final topic I want to cover is, I'm going to try not to make it too heavy here at the end, but this past weekend, the weekend after Thanksgiving, this is the 5th anniversary of my epiphany, the wake-up call that I needed to do something about my life, my health. I needed to take control because I was in a pretty miserable place. Also at the end card, I guess I'll put my transition, transformation. I want to make sure I get those terms right. But how I changed my life at age 51. And it started Thanksgiving weekend. I think it was the Saturday after Thanksgiving. This is difficult for me to talk about. I haven't even gone back and rewatched those videos. I was in a dark place and realized the first thing I needed to do was take control of my health, and I was going to do that by taking control of what I eat. And the path I started down was actually vegan. I was emulating Penn Jillette in his book Presto. And I talk about all this in the series and how eventually I found my way to keto. But it's sort of like a birthday in a way. And my next birthday will be my ketoversary, which I think is going to happen in January. That will be my 5 years on keto. So that'll be a special celebration. Hopefully by then I'll hit 300,000 subscribers and I can do some sort of massive giveaway, a combination 300,000 subscribers and 5 years on keto giveaway. Cross our fingers. Hopefully we get there. But that is going to be it for this video. Like I said, I'll put those other 2 videos up here in the end card, sort of managing the holidays or whatever it's called on keto, and my transformation that started 5 years ago. That's it. Thanks for watching.